welcome to another instalment of CalBorne's Classic Catch-Ups. I am Dan Calavassi, putting the Cal in CalBorne and throwing to my friend Tom. How you going?
Mate, very well, Calla. I'm joined by two of probably some of the greatest Sydney Uni veterans to ever play the game, but even better because you're back this week, mate. I missed you last week. We had Henry Two Dads Clooney's Ross step in, but the schnoz is gone and the Egyptian's back, mate. Where were you last week?
Oh, mate, I actually got called into a work meeting trying to keep the economy afloat. And Henry, I knew, was free. I don't think he's worked a day in his life, so I think he did a good job. But yeah, kicking things off, we've got two men who did a great job always on the field for Sydney Uni. We've got Tim Davidson and Nick Phipps. How you going, boys?
Yeah, lads.
Good, lads. Just kicking things off right away, Davo. Look, we're going to focus on the 2013 grand final against Eastwood. Just to you, that was probably one of your later grand finals. I'm not sure if you sort of knew it would have been your last going into it or who knows, but was that particularly special as you came towards, what was probably one of the greatest Sydney Uni careers of all time? Did you think, this could be one of the last ones that made it extra special, or was it just an ordinary game?
Yeah, look, it's a good question, mate. I think, I'd decided that would be my last game, so to answer the first part of your question. So, yeah, look, it obviously was pretty special. Regardless of what you've done in the past, you still had to prepare, right? It's a grand final. So, just making sure that was at the front and the team was ready to go. There's a lot of distractions. So, and if you've always focused on yourself or one player, your team's not going to go well. So, try to put that to one side whilst it's a special occasion and get the job done. And then, you have the ability to reflect. But, I think from my perspective, I'd called it. So, I was ready to put in. But I was lucky when one of my first ever jersey presentations, I had Trevor Walsh present the jerseys, the Axe Walsh. And he said that, every time you pull that jersey on, you wear it like it's the last time you're going to ever wear it. So, from a young age, I was taught, mate, that, you don't take it for granted. Every time you put that jersey on, it's a very, very sacred opportunity and one you can't take for granted because you never know when it's going to end, right? So, so that was my part in the 13 grand final.
Yeah, for sure. And Fanger, obviously, you'd kind of jump throughout your career back into clubland from the Waratahs. But kind of what was so special about that 2013 team? Did they do things differently, or did they have a culture that was a bit different to anything else you've seen? Or
I think it was really good. And I was lucky that was my first actual grand final with first grade. So it was special, very special to me. I was sort of in and out of the Wallaby squad for a while that year. So being welcomed back to the club was really, really special. It's sort of like a happy place coming back and getting them to run around with some of the boys that you've sort of grown up with the last 6 or 7 years. And I think the mix that we had that year was really good because we had, the older heads leading from the front like Davo and Carts, but then, it was a very exciting youthful team. There was probably, one of the youngest teams, or probably the youngest grand final team that Davo or anyone's probably played in. But, we had a lot of electric players like Bernard Foley and Tom Kingston had spiders on them all year. And they stood up in that grand final as well. And, it was just a great mix and sort of like the passing of the guard sort of thing. I know Carts played for another 13 years, but being able to hand over that, see out some of the greats of the game and then see some of the younger ones step up into that void, it was very special.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Unreal. And look, Davo, you're obviously, tried and tested on field as a leader, but off field, I remember one of my fondest memories and earliest memories of the club was going down to Albury to play in a trial, and Dan Calavassi was there as well. And we hopped on the bus. You were actually kind enough to let us stay at your lovely property down near Young. But the thing that really struck me was we had a young player. I won't name him because he'll get embarrassed, but he was small and annoying and he had a whiny voice, and his name was Banjo Travers. And effectively, he fell asleep. So he disengaged from the rest of the group. he was being selfish, he wasn't being social, and so you took the initiative and gently lobbed a Tui's can into his forehead. And so I want to commend you on that. But Fanger, have you seen incidents of Davo's off-field leadership that have been really special? Can you think of any stories that you thought, yeah, Davo, you've done it well off the field?
Honestly, I don't know if we've got enough time tonight to go through more, because I was lucky enough I was in thirds Colts when Davo was in first grade, and I was just a little pet. And then in my second Colts year, we had a lot of big characters that like to take the piss out of the grade boys as well. So I was also then moved in with Davo for 2 years, so I saw the best and worst of him, and I think he's like a respectable member of society nowadays. So I don't know how many stories we can actually tell here, but his nickname was the D-Shock around the place. His reputation at the grandstand and the gross and Nag's Head well preceded him, and he had to actually retire D-Shock a few years ago once he really grew up, got married, and had kids. So RIP
Water under the bridge. Water under the bridge, boys.
Get over the fence at a social function. Just D-Shock's ready to come in, but he hasn't been invited back in too lately, which is the worst, to be honest.
Oh, that's unreal. Well, apart from just off-field leadership, Davo, obviously one of the most decorated Sydney Uni captains. And I remember when you coached us in 2017, something that you said at training was it didn't matter how sore your legs were, or if you had a shitty day at work, you'd always come to training, and if someone asked you if you're feeling good, you'd always say yeah. So I think that resonated with a lot of the boys. But I know there's always the cliches of what makes a great leader, but did you have any little things that you were quite conscious of that a lot of people wouldn't have been that you used to do to try to get the boys up or yourself up?
Yeah, look, I think, everyone's got a different opinion, right, on what leadership is and what makes a good leader and things like that. Look, I think from my perspective, I was just very lucky that when I got thrown or asked to be captain, I was 22, right? I was just a kid. So I was very lucky. I had really good leaders in the team, like Scotty Stumbles and Michael Griffin and guys with really level heads who played a lot of first grade footy. And I used to go into a circle and get the boys in and team huddle, and I'm like, just like in a high pitched voice, like, just these three things. And anyway, it was debacle. Like blokes would run out with half asleep, and you get towed up in the first 20 minutes. And but after the game, they had enough courage to come up to me and go, Davo, mate, like you're putting us to sleep in the pre-match warm-ups. Like it's embarrassing. Like you just got to change it up a bit. So that goes one or two ways, right? Like you can either take that personally, or you go away and work on it. So, mate, I'll go and sit in the toilet like 10 minutes before kickoff, like with my hands shaking, and go over what I was going to say. But you do it 148 times. Like by the time you get to the end of your career, like I could make someone run through a brick wall by the end of it, right? But if I didn't take that feedback on at the start, I could have gone a different path. So I think it's just a bit of self-awareness. But I'm a firm believer that it's your values, right? Like, growing up in a farming family, like I was taught to work hard, taught to be polite, like just the basics, mate. I think that are within your control. And I was lucky I had a really good, we had a good coach in 2005, Steve Surridge, who chose me way back when. But he gave me the confidence and the belief that I could do the job. There was wallabies that come back and things like that. So, you're dealing with blokes far more experienced than you. But he just said, don't change who you are, don't change what you've done, keep doing what you're doing. You'll get the job done. But, and over time, mate, it's like anything, you work hard on it, you eventually get better at it. And, it's something I really enjoyed, but it's a responsibility as well that, what drove me was I didn't want to let anyone down the team, So if I had to sacrifice my preparation or sacrifice not going to parties or going to the pub or whatever, then I'd do that, because if I meant I'd turn up and play well and do my job, then I wasn't letting anyone down the team. So different things motivate different people, mate. But that was what did it for me, and I was lucky to do it for as long as I did, and I loved every minute of it.
For sure. And what about a good halftime spray, or do you ever get stuck into the boys at any point that you sort of remember, like a memorable one? Fanger, you might have a memory as well for this one.
I'll let him go.
Yeah, look, I think I saved them up, Calla, is what I would say. And again, like you want rather your actions do the talking than your words, right? So
yeah,
I didn't say much often, but when I did, I tried to make sure it had purpose and was to the point, right? And also, like if you say too much, like mate, blokes have got stuff going on in their heads left, right, and centre. And Fanger was the case in point, mate. Like if Fanger didn't have 3 girlfriends, like to get his scatterbrain, all over the shop so he could actually focus on his footy, then he'd play terribly. So, it was lucky that, he was dating 3 Annabelles at the one time. So his mind was like,
you
had to think about one. Now he had to think about one name. So, little things like that, mate. You just learn along the way. Help the boys get up. But look, I wasn't a massive sprayer. Like if someone stepped over the mark or wasn't pulling their weight, like I'd give them a choice, mate. It's like either do your job or get off the field. So. I'd tell the coaches that. Like, and again, it's not personal. It's just you got a job that the team needs to do, and if that person's not doing it, then mate, you're exposed. May as well run it with 14 men, So probably the best one was to Willie Skelton in the semi-final down at Manly. Mate, he was playing like a second-hand lawnmower. He wasn't. He may as well not turned up. I just said to Nobby, mate, you either get him. It was actually in 13. You either get him off the field or. I'll march him off myself. So anyway, that's when Liam Whitten came on before half time. So, and again, it wasn't anything against Willie. Like he was just young, mate, and big game, really tough place to play down at Manly Oval. Like it's probably one of the hardest fields to play at, right? I knew at that point in time, games in the balance, like someone in the engine room not pulling their weight, got to go, mate. So, so anyway, like as I said, little things like that, but I'm more of a pull you aside type person and have a quiet chat than an open spray because then I'll guilt you into doing your job rather than actually showing people that you're not doing it. Yeah,
absolutely. And Fanger, Dave, I just mentioned Manly Oval. Did you ever have some ovals, whether it was in your international career or at Sydney Uni, that you just hated going to play at, or that you really loved coming away with a win?
No, not from the Shoot Shield, really. Hated some of the sort of more backward South African towns to go and play in. Pretty rubbish, but and anywhere in New Zealand. But that Manly day was an epic day because I think it was funny. The crowd was rabid. They were like sort of really gunning for us, and I think even Cart saw that big time and took a lot on his shoulders there by sort of inciting the crowd. And
that's unlike him.
No, absolutely not. But as much as you like to take the piss out of him, method to his madness. If he could get a lot of that crowd into him, then our young team could just go about their business. And that was an epic game. Bernard Foley hit a drop goal last play of the game to win it for us to send us through, and it was a pretty special day, that one.
Unreal.
For the record, he ran past the hill going like this, like can't hear, like this.
Jagged fingers.
Sorry about that.
Anyway, gents, look, I think that's pretty much all we've got time for. But do you have any parting words for the community during these times? If you'd like to say anything, maybe something with you, Davo.
Yeah, look, I think obviously unprecedented times. So hope everyone's keeping safe and well, and I think it's an important time to reach out to each other and stay in touch. It's just checking in goes a long way to making sure people are right. And I think the good thing is it'll pass. Like anything, we'll get on top of it. But just about staying together and working through it. So we hope everyone's well and safe, and wishing everyone the best for the future.
How do you, Fang?
Yeah, no, it's just always being in touch with a fair few boys at uni. Unfortunately, good mates with Hodgie, who's sort of shoulder the wheel there a fair bit. But just the supporters and the sponsors of the clubs that are just sticking by and buying memberships when they know that games aren't going to be on for a while. That's just exemplifies the club for what it is. It's a tough period for everyone and sport in general as well. And Sydney Uni is no exception. So their support, supporters and the sponsors as well has been unbelievable. So, the players really appreciate that, and hopefully there's, players playing in third sculpts through the year who will get the same opportunities that someone like me and Davo got as well. And, that's why the club's so special.
For sure. Anyway, boys, thanks for coming on. Thanks for dressing up Davo and up the students as always.
Mate, where was the memo? Where was the memo, mate?
Good on you, boys.
See you boys.
Take care.